All right, hey, welcome back to another episode of Schlender 5 Productions. I'm actually joined by the very first guest I ever had, but unfortunately I was not very skilled in how to use any of these robots. So
Still not skilled.
Yeah, okay, he's right. Still not skilled.
But
we recorded a solid 45 minutes of us talking about CREEPSHOW, and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty genius. But we're never gonna recreate it, so it's pretty much a loss for the world. No, it's not.
Well, one day we'll do the CREEPSHOW again.
Yeah, we'll probably do CREEPSHOW again.
Do it again.
We'll do CREEPSHOW again.
But we're not here for the CREEPSHOW, no.
They don't have the pretext of knowing you're doing a Macho Man thing.
This is the way I talk all the time.
Yeah, you know what? He's not lying. So I'm joined by, oh yeah, I forgot to introduce you properly.
Hey, you're terrible. It's really bad.
Well, I'm putting the am in amateur.
Well, go ahead and do it now.
I'm putting the am in amateur as in I am an amateur. Mm-hmm. I'm going to edit that out. That's a shit joke.
Amateur.
Amateur? Like, I'm joined by, ready? Take it from the top. Oh,
We're
hi.
keeping all of that in.
Yeah, I am. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Terrible. Anyways, Derek, joined by my buddy Robb, as we were making all these jokes, which I'm not going to edit out, and it's going to be very funny to watch, maybe, I hope.
It's the Macho Man to you here. Digging it the most.
Okay. But Robb is one of the creative minds behind, and I don't know if we've been too subtle, the Reels of Justice podcast. I hear it's great.
Now that's good podcast.
But anyways, aside from us just supporting each other's artistic endeavor. Oh God. Well, hey, if you're a child, stop watching. So
They shouldn't be watching this anyway.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
we do hang out quite a bit. I would say
Too much.
I was going to say too much. Look at us finishing each other's sandwiches.
That's where my sandwich went. You bastard. What are we supposed to be talking about?
So yesterday we got together and we ended up watching, as I would call it, probably history's greatest dyad. I mean, you talk about Godfather, you talk about Godfather Part 2. We don't talk about Godfather 3, even though they just did that new
Oh, I like the new cut. It's not that bad.
I haven't seen it. And you know what? I'm not that interested in it, if I'm being 100% honest. But if we're talking about great movies,
Coppola,
I don't know, something about Godfather 3 feels lost in translation.
She directed that movie.
Google it. Oh, damn it. Sorry. But anyways, so we got together and, sometimes we try and find like classy movies to watch. And
Classy.
yesterday we watched, arguably, and I'd argue it, like I said, the greatest dyad of filmmaking history, Lavalantula 1, and then the sequel, which I'm not even kidding, is called To Lava, To Lantula.
They were great.
A guy actually says, when he's surrounded by spiders, he goes, there's 2 lava, 2 lantula.
I can't get away. They're too lava. Too lantula.
Goes out in a blaze of glory. He might be history's greatest actor.
Yeah. And the first one really crams the title in too, right?
Yes, they do. They say Lavalantula like
Twice.
Yeah,
Because there's a reporter in the beginning saying,
Oh, by the way, spoilers for the Lavalantula and Sharknado shared universe. In case you were wondering, they exist in the same. Ian Ziering, I think.
Former Beverly Hills 90210 star Ian Ziering.
We had to Google it, but actually we Googled it yesterday, so I may not be accurate
SS
today.
Commander.
Yeah. Whoop. Whoop. So there's a part where Steve Guttenberg actually walks into the lead actor.
Oh, it stars Steve Guttenberg.
Oh yeah, who for
Spoilers.
the record, at first I was like, Dylan Walsh looks weird. I thought it was Dylan Walsh. I really did. And then it was Steve Guttenberg. And then
Someone put Dylan Walsh in the microwave for 15 seconds.
yeah. I really did think it was Dylan Walsh.
But Guttenberg got this role because he was supposed to be the star of Sharknado.
He was supposed to be in
and he
Sharknado.
turned it down, which was smart. But then he agreed to do Lavalantula, which was
is
not smart.
I would disagree, and I would say agreeing to do Lavalantula is the smartest move he's ever made. Lavalantula 1, by the way, none of it takes itself seriously at all.
But it takes itself more seriously than To Lava, To Lantula.
To Lava, To Lantula, oh my God, if we... all
Let's
of you
start at just. Let's focus on the first one, though. I mean,
Yeah, all right. Let's
just talk about the first.
Let's talk about the
It
first
is.
one.
It's definitely a comedy.
Oh,
It's
it's without a doubt.
a satire of those sort of Sharknado films,
It
which
does
are
feel-
already
Yeah,
satires.
it does feel like it's making fun of Sharknado, doesn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Because you've basically got Steve Guttenberg, who's an actor, right, a Hollywood actor, and that's how the movie starts with him filming a Hollywood scene.
Which
And
you
the idea
called,
is-
which you called immediately.
Yeah, I was like, this is a movie because it looked super cinematic.
Yeah,
and
it did.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like he's a washed-up actor, and so they're very much acknowledging that it's Steve
Yes,
Guttenberg.
but then the movie starts.
Yeah, exactly. So they're basically acknowledging Steve Guttenberg as Steve Guttenberg, but they're also kind of taking that sting at Ian and Tara Reid and any of those kind of fallen from grace actors who are now doing those types of films, and they're rolling with that and playing with the idea because they constantly nudge him. They're like.
Yeah.
Because he's making a movie about bugs, and he's like, "Why am I making a movie about bugs?" And he's like, "Well, this is a bug movie. I don't do bug movies. You're in one." And that's,
You best start believing
exactly.
in bug movies.
They're breaking
You're
the
in
fourth
one.
wall.
Pirates of the Caribbean, coming soon to a theater near you, because they're never going to let that franchise die, but they should.
Well, it depends. Depp wants to keep doing them. He wants to keep doing them.
He's not the star of that. We all know Jeffrey Rush is the star of that.
Well, if they want to keep him, I'm a Keira Knightley booster.
Yes, you did just watch Pride and Prejudice. Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to
To lava, to prejudice.
Pride and Lavalantula.
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy!
Pride and Prejudice and Lavalantulas.
Elizabeth Bennet, you can't date Mr. Lavalantula!
You're from two different worlds.
Oh, I've wasted my life.
But anyway, so Lavalantula, it's as they describe it, it's a volcanic eruption of fire-breathing spiders.
In
And-
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day Lavalantulas came to Santa Monica? Everclear wrote a song about it. No, but it is funny because it really doesn't take itself seriously. And within the first 5 minutes, there's Lavalantulas. Like,
Oh yeah, it does immediately jump into
it's
it.
only
which
an
I
hour
like,
and 20 minutes long.
which is how long a movie should be.
Yeah, by all means, watch
Don't make
it.
movies that are longer than that,
Well, I don't know.
unless it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
It better be really cool.
I mean, a 3-hour cut of Lavalantula 3.
What would they call it? Tokyo Drift, Tokyo
No. They got to pick another coastal.
Santa Monica Drift. No. That's all the coastal cities right there. Boston.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Drift.
Boston. Ooh. Nah, anyways. So, yeah.
Webster Drift.
Oh.
Okay.
But, anyways, yeah, no. Yeah.
One, they're not tarantulas even, really, like the way those spiders act.
Well, I mean, most spiders aren't made of lava.
Sure, but I mean, they're definitely lava spiders. They're
They're
really
actually
not.
magma spiders and become
Not once they come out of the crust.
They're lava
They're
spiders.
yeah, they're magmalantulas when they're in the ground, but when they come up, they're lavalantulas.
I mean, the historical.
This is basic science, you idiot.
Oh, we touched on it a little bit in just one of our back and forths, but the fact that they're called lavalantulas, a guy makes the reference just kind of offhand, right? The reporter, he's like, and we're surrounded by lavalantulas. But then later in the movie, there's a scientist, and he goes, the ancient Mayans had a term for them, lavalantulas.
Which
and
is
this
like,
guy, yeah.
But well, one, the fact they would never hodgepodge together lava, avalanche, tarantula. None of them are in the land Spanish or whatever language the Mayans spoke. They weren't speaking Spanish till the end. But
No is pretty universal, though.
well, it should have been.
They
said no. I know that.
That's not what I meant by that, but
I don't know what the etymology of tarantula is. It sounds like it would be.
oh, it's ancient Mayan for giant spider.
Oh, no, it's not.
Prove me wrong, internet.
Ancient Mayan for giant spiders. Ah!
But it is funny because he goes, Rob goes, wait, you mean to tell me that some random reporter came up with Lavalantula, and now we have a scene where a scientist is explaining the history of Lavalantula? We already got it.
Well, maybe the reporter was familiar with the ancient Mayans
descendant?
legend as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a curious individual. he's
a-
a reporter, after all.
He's the story keeper of the time his family
Yeah.
was murdered by Lavalantulas.
Lavalantulas,
Yeah.
exactly.
That would be pretty fun. Oh God, they should do like a Mayan version of Lavalantula. That would be
Now,
pretty
so it stars Steve Guttenberg, who everyone knows from Police Academy. You should. I think he does another film.
Cocoon?
Did anyone see Cocoon?
We're going to get into it, but in To Lavalantula, they do make a Cocoon joke.
Yes.
Which I
They make
called.
a lot of references to.
Yeah,
But sticking to one, his co-star is Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
The guy who does all those sound effects. I can't do them, but if I would be famous like Michael Winslow if I could.
Maybe I'll find
I sure as hell wouldn't be talking to you.
You could be lonely. Michael Winslow.
Lonely now.
Michael Winslow made 2 Lavalantula movies. Don't tell me he's not lonely. But it was wild because we recognized him immediately, and he makes one sound effect in the first 5 minutes, disappears from the movie until the last 20 minutes, and we're not sure if he was making certain sound effects. Like he does like the he does like the police siren sound out of a bullhorn.
Full power.
You like how I pantomime bullhorn here? But
That's bullhorn, huh?
that's bullhorn. And but that's bullhorn. God.
That's sign language.
Yeah. Oh no. I guess we're gonna
There's
end up.
somebody at home,
We're-
and because there's no subtitles out of this. Guaranteed.
I can add subtitles and make them.
But you won't, will you?
That's a lot of typing. So, but anyways, yeah. So we were really concerned because, well, concerned. I mean, as concerned as anyone can be watching an hour and 20-minute Steve Guttenberg movie involving Lavalantulas. Michael Winslow was being criminally underutilized, and we're like, he's got to come back in the third act. And to the movie's credit, it sets up liquid nitrogen at the very beginning, which becomes important at the end.
Chekhov's liquid nitrogen.
The famous Chekhov's liquid
Yeah.
nitrogen. The Lavalantula is just all Chekhov setups and payoffs. But like, honestly, the middle of the movie is nonsense. But if you take like the beginning and end, they make a lot of sense. It's not like the best story.
There's an arc.
Yeah, it makes narrative sense.
As
Like,
the spiders get bigger, because the spiders get bigger and bigger.
yeah, and then they got
Presumably, all the first ones are babies, and at the end, you get the giant one, the Mamalantula.
which
That's what the movie calls it.
Yeah,
Mamalantula.
this is not a joke. It's not us trying to be cutesy or funny. There's a scientist who calls it a Mamalantula.
I don't know if he was a scientist.
He was. He was the guy at the
He had a
museum.
lab coat.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a scientist. Which has
Got
gotten me
to us in lab coats?
Yeah, it's got. I got to buy some lab coats. But then, so the movie also pokes fun at Steve Guttenberg quite frequently. They call him clown cops.
There's a Clown Cops franchise he's apparently
Yes,
part of.
and
Swamp Justice. Road Ragers.
They
The
didn't
Executioner? What
Yeah.
was his Terminator?
It was a
one?
Terminator,
His house is
Executioner.
covered in former posters that he did as an
oh,
actor.
not just that. It is covered in
the weapons
in
that-
prop weapons from the movie.
I don't know if they were props. They're clearly
Well, the
lethal.
shotgun's real.
Exactly, and loaded.
And loaded. Yeah, it's in like this plastic. And we were joking back and forth as we were watching it, and I said, "Can you believe they successfully raised one of 4 children in this house?" Because it's a dead kid joke, but
Oh boy.
whatever.
And there is a kid who's like way too old. Because
Yeah.
at the beginning, Steve Guttenberg's trying to like, go to a game with his son, and I'm like, okay, so he's 8 or he's 10, and you see him and he's like 21 years old, and it's
Yeah.
like, so your dad couldn't go to a game with you because he had to work. Maybe suck it up. You know?
Yeah, no,
Bring
it's-
another friend. You know, you're 21 now. You have friends.
And so then the kid, instead of going to the game, decides he's going to go run his bike with kids who are much younger than him in the casting department.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. They were like, oh no, here comes old dude. Let him do his BMXing. I will say, Lavalantula could not be bothered with the editing department. There are so many. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, they had to pad this thing out to an hour and 20 minutes.
They very clearly never did more than 2 takes of anything, and it's never more egregious than when they're doing the news reports, and the news reporters can't even get a sentence out without
stutter.
stumbling. Yeah, like they stop, and then he keeps going. You want a second take?
You want another take there, Jim? Nah.
How's that? I see no reason to do it again.
I don't do other takes. He's like Calculon. on
Yeah,
Futurama.
yeah.
I don't do redos.
It was so egregious, though. Like, imagine watching local news. You know, when you watch local news and sometimes somebody stutters and you're like, that's pretty funny. But imagine that was every news broadcast. You change the channel.
Yeah. I will say, though, that the CGI effects in the first Lavalantula kind of surprised me. I mean, they're at least, like...
The face burning CGI is really good, actually.
Yeah, they're at least, like, torn, like, Sharknado level, comparable. They're not Birdemic bad, is the point,
But they should be. They should be.
The flying toaster.
I love Birdemic.
But so I was a little impressed with that. And then the practical effects, like the burns, those weren't bad.
Yes, I will say the practical effects looked pretty good.
Yeah. Even though they're still not tarantulas.
They're lavalantulas. It's completely different. Stop applying tarantula logic to lavalantulas. You know what?
Separate entities.
Yeah, people like you are why this movie has a 4 on IMDb.
It's a 4?
I don't know,
That's
maybe.
extremely
I'm guessing.
generous.
I'm not going to Google it.
Google it.
It's probably a 4.
Well, there's a graphic right here that shows you what it is.
I could point to it.
But we won't.
It's not that much effort. Honestly, I make it sound like editing these things is like some kind of I put a lot of work into
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, he's right. So, I believe we were talking about Lavalantulas.
Well, that was Lavalantula, and there's
It's great. So
Yeah.
Steve Guttenberg is in like a version of like the Rocketeer.
called the Red Rocket.
The Red Rocket, which
That's the maturity level
Yes.
of the movie.
And if you're thinking, why is that funny? Guess what? You're classier than we are. So,
Google it. Google it.
No.
Well, don't worry. There's a graphic right here.
Oh, no. No.
I'm ruined.
I'll never financially recover from this. But it's essentially a Rocketeer. But the costume, like the way it's shaped, I swear to God, he looks like a KKK member, doesn't he?
It was. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't pointy. It was rounded.
It was pointy. It was
no,
like a
it
bullet.
wasn't. Yes, but it's not a sharp, coney bullet. It's a kind of rounded bullet.
I don't know. He
There's
looks.
a graphic right here of it. I'm telling you, it's more rounded. Unless it's not, in which case I'm wrong right now.
No. It's
video evidence of it.
It's bullet point. But just like the shape
Sharp.
of it.
You're saying it's sharp.
That's like a bullet.
All right. I
I don't know. I'm not Foster the People.
Anyway,
I'm not an
I
expert on
didn't see
bullets.
KKK in it. I did see Rocketeer.
It's not.
and
No, Rocketeer is.
I don't
well,
know
it
how
is
you could
supposed to be
find
the Rocketeer.
anything but innocence in the Red Rocket.
Well, I mean, if we just go back a couple minutes, I think
Fun
we'll
for
prove
the
that
whole
you
family.
didn't find
What I like
innocence
is
in-
that his costume for Red Rocket actually can fly. It actually has jets and is a fully functioning body armor weapon because he uses it to fight and battle the Mamalantula.
I'm not an expert on rocket technology, but I'm pretty sure that the moment you're hit, you're flying in that direction, and the moment you hit a building, game over.
What I learned
Oh,
from
do you remember
propulsion-
do you remember what his kill line was when he kills the Mamalantula? He's got a brick of
Nice
C4.
mouth.
Nice mouth. He says, this is not a joke. He goes, nice mouth, and throws a brick of C4 into its throat.
Yeah. Nice mouth is one of the last things I say to a lot of people. You would do that to me, too.
I would.
Yeah, just want to waste my time. You know, I'm a busy man. I'm a host of the Reels of Justice.
That's right. Reels of Justice. Really good podcast.
So, that's Lavalantula.
So, yes. So we were talking about like what we wanted to watch. So
But that's just New Hope.
he was
Then we have to get to Empire.
He was talking about, oh God, he was talking about Lavalantula, and he's like, there's a sequel. And I'm like, oh, what's the sequel called? And he goes, To Lava, To Lantula. And I'm like, please tell the story right. And he goes, no, that is the sequel. And I was like, oh, well, I think I know what we're doing for the next couple hours.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress enough how To Lava, To Lantula might be the most perfect sequel in the history of sequels.
It is funny. It's a funny progression of it because Gutenberg's back, Winslow's back. Now they're partnered up
For Clown Cops.
for Clown Cops, the sequel.
The sequel.
Which was like a brilliant call out.
Yeah, my brother Dylan, who maybe will get on the show someday.
I hope not.
Yeah, probably.
You'd do better.
If so, he's one of the 5. So if we get all of us in one place, we can summon Captain America. So, I mean, Captain Planet.
I want to be hard.
I'm not going to edit this.
I want to be hard.
I bet you do. You're not.
I get the little monkey.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's me.
That's the best one.
I know.
So anyways, so
Plus,
Gutenberg.
heart is a euphemism for. It is. Look it up.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Anywho,
Anywho.
so Gutenberg plays a caricature of himself. Boy, I pronounced
Well,
that wrong.
because Gutenberg is the big hero at the end of Lavalantula.
He wants to be an action hero
That's not part of the show.
in the second one.
It re-kickstarts his career again as an actor.
Oh yeah, because in Lavalantula 1, everybody is constantly commenting on everything he does, as if there's like a crew following him.
In other news, 90s action hero Colton West has apparently hijacked a tour bus.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Also, the
The
edits,
news is always following because he's always getting into fights and stuff like that. So he's like a Mel Gibson
in
sort of
the Russell Crowe style.
yeah. Constantly
But
Tobey Maguire.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sure. Jack Nicholson, I think he punched a reporter too. Reporters are fun to punch.
The guy who hit what's his face in the WWE there.
Dr. D, Dave
Dr.
Schultz.
D, Dave Schultz.
Dr. D.
Yeah. By the way, quick, watch Dark Side of the Ring. It's gonna
We'll
change
talk
your life.
about it sometime.
We're gonna do an entire series on Dark Side of the Ring. Don't worry about
A
it.
retrospecticus.
That's what I was gonna call him.
No, that's
Retrospecticus.
my joke.
No, that's a Simpsons joke.
Which I stole from them first. So, back to Lavalantula. So Gutenberg now is this like rejuvenated big action hero, and everyone knows him as the guy who killed the Mamalantula,
Yes.
and saved at least California, they say.
But the script treats him like Rodney Dangerfield. You don't get no respect.
I think he probably didn't get enough respect for killing the Mamalantula. But it rejuvenates his career at least.
And he does the shtick as the action hero.
And
He
so now
plays the shtick.
he's constantly doing the action. Yeah, he talks in a real gruff voice that he only breaks occasionally to go back to being sort of normal, weak Steve Gutenberg.
All over the building with flames coming out of their mouth. Flames coming out of their mouth.
They didn't set up him being like the caricature until later in the movie. So as we're watching it, like, why is he doing this? Because it just feels so. Because in the first Lavalantula, he's very frantic, and it's great because it just seems like a dude who's trying his best and will not succeed, and then gets a rocket pack. And then in Lavalantula, Tulantula.
Thank you.
The world is familiar enough with Lavalantulas that there's a couple like black engineers who build a honest to God Lavalantula killing weapons, and they're great. I mean, Brick is one of the best characters in cinema history. He is. Brick is, by the way, the guy who when he's surrounded.
Marquis.
Yeah. Have you ever met a Lavalantula? Tried to date. But he's the guy who gets surrounded by Lavalantulas and can't escape, and he goes, "They're too lava, Tulantula," and just starts trying to shoot it, instantly killed. And he's so funny though, because like when the friend dies, she's like, "Where's my friend?" He's like, "She's dead. Keep running."
Yeah, exactly.
Like Brick is the
well, because
best.
similar to the first one, and this is something that happens in the first and second one, a girl is bit by the Lavalantula, which eventually makes her erupt in baby Lavalantulas, which is kind of nightmare fuel. But in the second one, they come like right out of her eyeballs.
Yeah, they come out of her eyeballs.
And she's just on fire. The graphics of it aren't great. I will say the graphics in Tulantula, all the CGI spiders, they take a step down.
They do. They're much worse than the first one.
Yeah, they're much worse. I think they spend their budget on the big one in the second one, the Gargantulantula.
That's a freaking gargantulantula.
That's what it's called. It's called the Gargantulantula.
It is called a Gargantulantula.
Great name.
They have an entire sequence where they try and pronounce it too, which is.
Yeah, it's funny. They do a funny shtick of it.
And then the one guy, his name is Elizabeth, and so he does like, "I'm coming, Elizabeth." Yeah.
Well, they just do
so many references.
Like there's a Jurassic Park kitchen sequence where they're
More than
hiding
one.
in
There's
the
actually
kitchen.
2 Jurassic Park kitchen sequences.
Yeah, from the spider
And then they
crawling
drop
on
a
top.
banner too.
Yeah, they drop the Jurassic
home
Park.
of the Raptors.
Yeah,
that's the college.
And it looks like the banner at the end of Jurassic Park, so it's not subtle. The Independence Day speech, and then it comes back with
he comes back with the parachute.
The parachute rolled up.
I mean, what can you say about a movie that references Independence Day and also Dr. Strangelove?
And
within 10 minutes of each other,
huge
by the way.
Dr. Strangelove reference.
10 minutes of
And
each
don't
other.
forget Poltergeist too, right?
God,
Because right at the beginning, when the
Poltergeist.
Earth starts to shake, and you know from having experienced the first one that the Lavalantulas are coming. There's a young girl who just turns and
Looks at the camera.
They're here.
Yeah. Honestly,
Just shameless references.
I
over
highly
and over.
recommend turning the Lavalantula 1 and 2 into a drinking game. But if you turn the drinking game into drink every time they quote another property, you're dead.
He'd probably be pretty close. And then another thing we have to talk about is in the first one of his sidekicks is the goalie from the Big Green.
Awesome!
Oh, so here's the other thing too.
Whatever his name is, Google it. It's right here.
Yeah, his name is Big. You keep pointing. I'm never going to put anything in that space. Now I am. But so I guess because Dylan was looking up, and it turns out like Steve Guttenberg, the producers are like, "You got any friends? Put him in the movie." And he does. He puts all of his friends in the movie, which
is 2.
Yeah, and one of them he was like a surrogate father figure to in the Big Green. So it is fun. It is fun, but like you.
But then in the second one,
the second one
the Big Green kid is not back, but there is another sort of pudgy,
and he has a
short,
stepdaughter
red
out of
afro,
nowhere.
haired guy who's clearly supposed to kind of look like the Big Green kid.
The second one makes some weird decisions. Turns out he's got like a stepdaughter, which they never really discuss, and like.
Well, because they couldn't get like his girlfriend or wife, whatever, from the first one back, I guess.
She hit 35. It was
or
too
the
old for Gutenberg.
son, and because they're not in California anymore, now they're in
was too old for
Florida,
DiCaprio.
and they go through the Everglades and they meet Alligator Dundee.
He's dead, Jim.
And the Lavalantulas start shooting spikes.
Yeah, which they forget about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, but it's now that's actually a tarantula type thing where they shoot their hairs and like that's something that they would do.
Is that true?
Yeah. Tarantulas will shoot their hair at you and agitate you, and they can get in your skin and
Remember in the first one we were saying like
they rub the hair.
like, do they have Lavalantula webbing? And it turns out in the second one, not only do they have Lavalantula webbing, they have very poorly rendered Lavalantula webbing to the point where like the spider drops down and there's no webbing. So the webbing. There's no.
It's a nice day for a
lava
white
webbing. And so like, so it's coming down and it's standing there on its Lavalantula.
What again, tarantulas don't do? They don't dangle from webbing.
If one tarantula has ever dangled, that makes it true.
Okay, then.
So, anyways,
But I don't think they
it's
can
doing
support
there,
their weight.
and then no. But the moral of the story is it's such a bad edit that like the spider drops and then the webbing like snap cuts to meet it.
Yeah.
It's like it's very obvious.
They still don't look like tarantulas. I mean, they're orb weavers. I mean, they've got the big.
Also, they have
Is
giant
that a
eyes.
thorax back there?
Oh, remember in the second one when they talk about how the
Google
spiders, the Lavalantulas sense us by using body heat, not their eyes.
Which is like, so if lavalantulas
exactly-
hunt by heat when
yeah.
they're down in the earth in the magma, they're blind. Everything's hot and they can't see anything.
You know what it really is? It is exactly the Tremors 2.
Yeah.
Because Tremors 2, they sense body heat. Mm-hmm. They don't shoot spindles. But
in the third one, they can fart and fly. So.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't seen the third one? They got ass blasters and they.
No, I haven't seen
You
it.
should see the third one.
I don't think I should.
No, you should. It's
I
not
think I
bad.
It'll be a
not
cold
good.
day in hell before I see another Tremors movie.
Oh, really? Well, maybe it'll be Shrieker Island. That's another one. Back to Perfection.
Really?
That's another one, too.
Oh, Jesus.
A lot of Tremors. And a TV
But anyways.
series. We'll do Tremors one day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm giving the game away when I say Tremors is one of those perfect kind of movies.
Yep, Tremors is a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's very good. You know what? We should do a series about where we talk about movies we think are
We
perfect.
should just watch Tremors.
What?
Just stop doing this right now.
Excuse me, I'm talking to the camera. What movies do you guys think are perfect? Let me know.
But Lavalantula necessarily isn't.
Lavalantula.
It is a lot of fun.
Two lava, two lantula.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good,
It is.
fun little distraction if you like those purposely bad type movies, like the Sharknadoes. You know, then it's another step in that same direction.
Well, it's the shared universe. He runs into Ian
Yeah.
Ziering and
Former Beverly Hills 90210 star Ian Ziering.
he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I gotta go. I have a shark problem."
Get off the street! I'd love to help you, but I got shark problems right now.
And we're like, "All right, good."
Yeah,
Fun.
it was as much as the cameo that he
That was
needed.
it. I mean, literally, my line is what I said is as long as he's in the movie. But it was fun. The second one just gets so wild, though.
They're both funny though.
I think the first one is funnier because I like that kind of like everything's chaotic.
See, I would have saved the Gargantulantula, and the Gargantulantula is like the Star Killer base to the Mamalantula is the Death Star.
Yeah.
It's bigger. Like the first one's big enough. It can climb a skyscraper like very easily, but the other one's like as big as a few skyscrapers.
It's a football stadium size.
Yeah.
Because it comes out of a football stadium.
Yeah, something like that.
No, it's a wild movie. Highly recommend them. Watch them with your buddies.
Yeah.
Have a couple cervezas.
Maybe Miller High Life. If you're not too good for it, like some people.
I'm not too good for anything. Yeah, any last thoughts on Tarantulantula?
It was Lavalantula.
Tarantulantula?
I never saw Tarantulantula.
Well, that's
Tarantula Rains. There you go. Should be the sequel, and it's just raining tarantulas.
So because it does exist in the same Sharknado universe, we were joking about if a Sharknado hit a Lavalantula, and then you got a Sharknado full of like flaming spiders, and we were like, I don't care who the protagonist is in that movie. You see a flaming Sharknado full of Lavalantulas, you take the gun, you're done. like, well, I'm done here.
Only one person can stop them, and it's Robo-Croc.
Oh God, we watched Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Yeah.